First of all, the shiur is for refuah shlema of Simcha Bunim ben Rachel and Leilu Nishmat Mor Avi Gedalia Moreno ben Matilda. We also have a YouTube channel that you could subscribe to. So if you do YouTube, you go to YouTube and do Yeshiva Etzion, please subscribe to it. So like this you can get updates every time we upload a new shiur. That will be a great addition and a show of support. We have a website at yeshivaetzion.com, and you can contact us at rabbigaon@gmail.com and also through the Yeshiva website. And also, if you want to, which will be a terrific and wonderful thing, is you could help us donate. If you want, for example, donate something for breakfast for the guys, whatever it is, you can, or dedicate something for Ilui Nishmat or Refuah Shlema, you can do so. So, Parashat Bechukotai starts with the word Im bechukotai telechu v'mitzvotai tishmoru v'asitem otam. To many people, it seems as call it a fence that prevents people from a free choice. In other words, you don't have a choice. I'm going to tell you what you do. You should go in my ways, and if not, I'm going to whack you. So there's no really free choice here at all. So many people are quote unquote very upset about this concept. Interesting enough that if you look at Rashi and you look at Ba'al al-Turim, both refer to Im bechukotai telechu v'mitzvotai tishmoru, refers to the mitzvah, the requirement of a person to be amel b'Torah. Rashi says in bechukotai telechu, yachol ze kiyum hamitzvot, kishu omer ve'et mitzvotai tishmoru, hare kiyum hamitzvot amur. מה אני מקיים אם בחוקותיי תלכו, שתהיו עמלים בתורה. You should be עמל בתורה. I mean, work, labor and learning. ועצם מצוותיי תשמעו, הווה עמלים בתורה על מנת לשמור ולקיים, in order to keep and to maintain for generations. That's why you're learning Torah. Because it says, "Velimadetem otam ushmartem la'asotam." You need to learn it, and then you can keep it. You cannot keep the mitzvot unless you are learning. So if a person, for example, does not learn Hilchot Shabbat, for sure, one way or another, he's going to come to violate it. It's just an example. Or brachot, or given any halacha there would be. Ba'al al-Turim says something the same thing. Bechukotai telechu, begimatria amilim b'Torah. Right? And then samachet bechukotai leShabbat. Right? ששקולים הם ככל המצוות והחוקים. ועוד שמח שבת ונתתי גשמכם בעיתו, דהיינו בלילי שבת, and so on and so forth. Beautiful stuff that the Ba'al al-Turim, by the way, you should really look into Ba'al al-Turim and what he says about that stuff. However, going back to what we said beforehand, I think for those who think or assume that this parasha kind of restrict and constrict us in taking away a free choice, I would suggest to them to simply look at this differently. For example, if I'm going to take the word im out, by the way, Gematria of Im is what? 41, which is the same Gematria as Eli, my God. Right? However, if that was correct what they said, or what people think, so let's take this word out, and then the commandment will come, Bechukotai telechu vet mitzvotai tishmoru v'asitem otam. There's no questions asked, you have to do it. And if not, I'm going to whack you. The introduction of the word if is the actual actual establishment of free choice that we have. I'm not making you do that. Im bechukotai telechu. Understanding that, and why is that? Having a choice and creating choice and allowing people to choose is the first step in establishing freedom. A person that cannot choose, let's say you will go to Soviet Union in the 80s, you went to a supermarket, shelves upon shelf of the same can of beans. Same thing. I remember somebody told me he came to Israel in the big waves of immigration. He said, I went to the supermarkets, I was standing in front of the shelves, and I was crying of the abundance. I didn't know what to do, of produce and varieties. And he said, you don't understand, shelves of the same can of beans. So when somebody does not want you to choose, and he chooses for you, he's taking away your freedom. The manifestation of freedom comes from choices. Then I can choose. I am free. A free man can choose. A person who is not free cannot choose. If you are in jail, you can't choose what you're going to eat. They're going to decide for you what to eat. They're going to decide to you when you're going to sleep. They're going to decide to you what you're going to wear and what are you going to do. Rule number one in parenting is introduce your children slowly into freedom. Give them freedom slowly. So why? So they will be able to choose. People who, for example, are in jail, that go out, they need to go back to jail. They've been there a long time because you need to make decisions all the time in the free world, all the time. And it's overwhelming if you don't know how, if you never practice. Yes, even if you make a mistake, it's never a mistake. What's a mistake? A mistake is not to choose. A mistake is taking away the freedom from a person to choose. He's not a master to himself. Who are you to take away his freedom? So when you're a parent, you need to introduce this ability and develop that skill set because the natural tendency is to let somebody else make a decision, especially if you're not an alpha male or an alpha female, you know. Let somebody else make the decision for me. And if something goes wrong, I blame him, it's not my fault. But that's not a way to live life, because when you become a husband and wife, you need to be able to make decisions together. That's a healthy relationship, not one overwhelming the other or one waiting for the other person to make a decision, because God forbid they don't want to make a mistake. It's a disastrous relationship like that. I'm giving you a choice. If you would like to do so, you don't have to. You don't have to. And that is one of the concepts of accepting the Torah every day as you received it in Sinai. If you want to, get it. And that's why Rashi and Baal HaTurim refer to this whole concept as Limud Torah. There is nothing more that expresses freedom than learning Torah. And you need to be amel, work hard on it. And how do I know that this is correct? Im bechukotai telechu represents freedom, and that is an essential part in Am Yisrael's understanding. I think it's maybe the most important, if I dare to say so, parak in Judaism in terms of understanding Jewish philosophy. What the Rambam writes in Halachot Shuvah in the 5th chapter. Reshut kol adam netunalo. Every person has the freedom, has the authority given to him. Pay attention. If רצה להטות עצמו לדרך טובה ולהיות צדיק, if he wants to direct himself on the good path and become a righteous person, guess what? הרשות בידו. He has the freedom. That's im bechukatai telechu. Amelim b'Torah. Im bechukatai telechu, that's the reshut that was giving it to you. By this pasuk, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the reshut to choose. ואם רצה להטות עצמו לדרך רעה ולהיות רשע, הרשות בידו. If he wanted to align himself with in a bad way and to become a wicked person, it's up to you, חביבי. הוא שכתוב בתורה, אין האדם היה כאחד ממנו לדעת טוב ורע. Man, ability to be able to distinguish between good and bad is what gives him somewhat of a divine characteristic to it. If I'm taking away the ability of a person to distinguish between good and bad, I'm acting against the whole concept of creation given to him. How could you do such a thing? That's a reshut b'yado. That's the word im. It's not restricting. It's giving you freedom. But you've been looking at it the wrong way. The Rambam continues. It says, Klomar, in other words, הן מין זה של האדם היה אחד בעולם ואין לו מין שני דומה לו בזה העניין. There is no other species in the universe that has this ability to distinguish between good and bad, שיהו מעצמו בדעתו ובמחשבתו, that he by himself, with his intellectual power, would be able, יודע הטוב והרע, would be able to recognize and to define between good and bad, ועושה כל מה שהוא חפץ, and he can do whatever he wants. ואין לו מי שיעכב על ידו מלעשות הטוב והרע. Nobody would stop you from doing the good nor the bad. אם בחוקתי תלכו, that's the freedom. וכיוון שכן, right, and because of that, הוא פן ישלח ידו. We have to give him something. And of course comes the Torah and tells us, helps us to guide us, and so on and so forth. And then it says, the Rambam, the Rambam, Al ya'avor b'machshavtecha davar zeh. Don't even think about what he says. She'omrim tipshei ha'umot, when the fools of the nations say, Verov golmei bnei Yisrael, and most of the morons in Am Yisrael, שהקדוש ברוך הוא גוזר על האדם מתחילת בריאתו להיות צדיק או רשע. That the person is being decreed upon by God from the beginning of its creation to be wicked or to be a righteous man. אין הדבר כן, this is not so. אלא כל אדם ואדם, every person, ראוי להיות צדיק כמשה רבנו. You could be righteous as Moshe Rabbeinu. Adam, that would mean also a goy. Or rasha keYerovam, or wicked as Yerovam. Or chacham, or smart, or sachil, or fool. Or rahaman, or merciful, or achzari, cruel. Or chili, or shua, or to be able to give a lot, or to be stingy. You were not born with those tendencies. You develop them. You could change them at any given time. וכן כל שאר הדעות. And so in anything else, any other characteristic that you had developed, you had the choice. ואין לו מי שיכפהו, there's nobody to oppress you, to force you, ולא גוזר עליו, and does not decree upon him, ולא מי שמושכו לאחד משני הדרכים, and nobody pulls you to this way or to the other way. Therefore, Habibi, stop with the blame game. It's my parents' fault. It's my this fault. Just change it. It's my 6th grade math teacher in elementary. Change it. Change it. I had a wicked teacher, tell you that. She was wicked. She hated Sfardim. And she made, listen, imagine a teacher that asks a question in a classroom and only one person answers, raises his hand, and she would not call upon him. And we had the teacher, she would teach us most of the subject, almost the whole entire day. Would not. So it was a habit. I would just share with her, even if I didn't have an answer, I would raise my hand. She never called upon me. She made sure I failed in math. And guess what? I came to hate math. Mamash, hate. Guess what? One day I said to myself, and it took me years, I was thinking about it. What am I, a fool? I'm going to let her run my... So that's it. And I started to teach myself math. And I tell you, I had a blast. People do your crossword puzzles. I used to solve math problems. It's enjoyable. It's so much fun. I used to get a kick, getting complex algebra things and doing math. I just love it. It's wonderful. I love math. I think it's great now. I stopped blaming everybody. Whether it was right or wrong what she did, it doesn't make a difference. But it's my choice. I need to hate math because of her? No, that's not my choice. I'm changing this. Something is bad for you in the environment, let's go. No, who's stopping you? What are you staying here and complaining? You don't like something, change it. If you buy a pair of shoes and you don't like them, you change them, right? They don't fit you, can change them. So you do anything else in your life. If you're in an environment that oppresses you and restricts your growth, why would you stay there? Why are you making excuses? At the end, it's going to cause you anything else besides what this parasha was all about. But liot amelim b'Torah u'b'chokotai telechu. You are in an environment that restricts you. You have to go to your in-laws every Shabbat. You want to be Shabbat alone with your wife. So guess what? Change it. Go move out of town. I don't understand. What's the problem? Why are you complaining? You have the issue to change. Nobody is decreeing upon you. And that's what the Rambam is saying. And he says, V'hu sheYirmiyahu omer, that's what Jeremiah says, Mipi Elyon lo titzeh hara'a ve'hatov. The decree does not come from above. It's only based on what you do. You pull yourself and then you bring it upon yourself. Ma yit'onen adam chai, right? Why should you complain? Gavar al chatav, overcome your sins. וחזר ואמר, he continues, says, הואיל ורשותנו בידינו ומדעתנו עשינו כל הרעות, since we did all these bad things from our own, by our own, nobody forced us to do so, right? ראוי לנו לחזור בתשובה ולעזוב רשענו. Now, let's change our ways, let's become בעלי תשובה. And it says, הוא שכתוב, אחריו נחפש את דרכינו ונחקור ונשוב עד השם. And that's very important. The whole concept of tshuva is free choice. When you understand that it's your wrongdoing, so you can make tshuva. When you take away that freedom of a person, you take his ability to make tshuva. And again, why? Because he's always going to blame somebody else. He can't choose anymore. You downgraded this person to a level of an animal that doesn't know good from bad, cannot make a decision. I don't know. It's all confusing. It's terrible. So I just want to move two more words further in this parasha. And this is, by the way, we can continue talking about that concept as it manifests from the word im bechukotai telechu for a whole semester almost. It's a philosophical thing. One word. I want to give you something else. Yes, we can talk about the Geula, if you're going to keep Torah and mitzvot, Rashi Tevot im, right, Aharon and Moshe, the Rashi Tevot of Esther and Mordechai, and so on and so forth, right? We can go with this, but that's not what I want to do. Im bechokotai telechu. There's another tremendous remez here. The word, which word? Telechu. To me, it is an indication that has to be in the whole concept of learning Torah is the halicha, that movement, that progress, going and developing If you are learning Torah and you still staying with the same problems, the same issues, there hasn't been a progress movement forward, there is a huge problem here. The whole bracha of alicha be'Hashem is to improve. That's why a person should learn Torah and become better. That's the amelut. I'm amel. I'm working on it. Not only on the Torah itself. I'm working on putting the Torah in all my limbs because I want to be able to be aware to do the mitzvot. I want it to change me. There is a progression forward. But when there's no progression forward, there is death. It's like water. The Torah is mashul l'mayim. When the water is flowing and it's gushing, it's healthy water. As soon as the water settles down, it becomes a swamp. And there's rot, and there's decay, and there's problems there. It has to be developing forward. So you need to progress also not only in your qualities, you also must progress forward also in the quality of your learning. So for example, if you were learning all the time, somebody was teaching you, now you have to become more active. And then you have to pick up a chavruta that is going to allow you more. Then you have to start writing. It doesn't mean going to a better yeshiva, because you're going to go to a so-called a better yeshiva, you're going to keep on doing the same things that you're doing now. You're not going to change your habits. So what's the point of moving? There's plenty of Torah to last you a lifetime, if not more, in one part of let's say the Tur Bet Yosef. So you need to develop your learning into better understanding of the Gemara, writing chidushim, writing articles, maybe becoming a rabbi, guiding people, teaching people. That's the movement. That's the involvement. Yes, you always have to learn, but your learning is on a different level. The way I learn now is not the way I learned 10 years ago, nor the way that I learned 20 or 30 years ago. Different. I learn different now. That's progression. I see things that I wrote then, I see things that I write now. It's two different things. It's involvement. Im bechukotai telechu indicates lalechet, a constant progression forward. So you have a choice. So those words, if, bechukotai, to you amelim b'Torah, you have to work hard in the Torah, amelim, all the time. You can't leave the Torah alone. You cannot. Im bechukotai telechu means that after you understand that you have a choice, you also need to move forward with your life. There has to be a movement forward, a tnuah, a continuous movement. The movement is what gives us chayut. Yes, there are ups and downs in life, but the ups and downs in life, it's what gives us that movement. For example, if I'll take a three-dimensional graph of the Earth movement, the Earth doesn't just move like this. The Earth moves like this. Forward. So sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but it's forward. It's like a cone. You move in a cone. Forward. It's coiling. As much as the earth spins around itself, but that spinning also allows it to spin around the sun. And we spin and so on and so on. Look, and everything in life is like that. So, Rabbatai, there's a lot of work to do. But the first thing to do is to understand that you have choices in life. And those choices you have to make. If you understood this parak in the Rambam, I think if you sit down and understand, again, I think it's maybe the most important chapter in Jewish philosophy. 5th parak of Halachot Shuvah to the Rambam. If you learn this part and you really internalize it, I think you have a good chance to make your life worthwhile. Shabbat Shalom.